All right, guys, I don't know about you, but I'm sure if you saw the title of the video today having to do with Rolodex, you probably thought that Andrea Beam has lost her mind. She has gone back to the olden days of using a Rolodex. Well, that is not the case. However, I do want to talk to you guys today just about the principles that were actually created around the Rolodex. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, a Rolodex was, just in my opinion, probably the original way that databases were created and managed. So if you're young enough that you weren't sure what that was, even it's this little index of cards, little index cards that were on a kind of a little rolling machine, and it was all alphabetized, and you could just flip to the card and manually pull out the card, and it would have the contact information on there. I totally remember using these actually as a teenager, working for my dad's company. He had a Rolodex on his office desk, and I remember filling out cards for him and putting them in his Rolodex. So the Rolodex is, just the original way of keeping track of all of your database, your people that you know and meet over time. And this Rolodex is what we're going to be talking about today, but it's actually based on a book by Harvey Mackay, who I won't go deep into Harvey Mackay, but huge businessman in the United States, and just wrote this book on I think it was called the Rolodex Network Builder. It was published like back in the 90s, and he gave some basic tips on how to use these Rolodexes in your database. And they're really, really good reminders, even today, even though most of us don't use a Rolodex anymore and we've got more technology than we can shake a stick at. The Rolodex and the book has so many good principles, and I want to share those with you today about your database, because here's the reality. I mean, as a real estate agent, I don't know about you guys, but I will easily, after an event or after networking, still come in and dump a bunch of business cards on my desk, and, need to be able to do something with those and get those into my database. Now, I realize there's technology out there where you don't even need the business card anymore. And I know I'm still a little old school. I love the physical touch of a business card. It doesn't get lost in my phone, and I do love it. Although there is a huge time and a place for the digital business card, which I am loving more and more. But these tips are going to just be about this original Rolodex networking plan. So number one, pale ink is better than the most retentive memory. I don't know about you guys, but I forget stuff almost the minute I take it into my brain, right? You get distracted, or you go on about your day, and if you didn't write it down, that person's name, 2 minutes later, you've already forgotten their name, let alone any way of reaching them or contacting them. So pale ink is better than the most retentive memory. Get it down on paper, get it into a system. Don't rely on your memory. Don't do it. It's not good, I promise. The next one, number two, is database is your most valuable asset. As well, and honestly, this is not just a real estate industry thing. This is any industry. If you're a business owner, an independent contractor, even if you're not in business, a database is extremely valuable in more ways than one. Today, I'm going to talk about it just from the terms of a real estate perspective. You guys, this is the most valuable asset that you have. It's the one tangible, most valuable thing that you can maintain in your business. Sure, your desk might be worth something, or your computer might be worth something, but in reality, you're just going to sell a few pieces of your business. But you guys, your database long term, if you're thinking exit strategy and long-term, as you should be, right? You're not going to sell houses until you're 100 years old. At least I hope not. I hope you have an exit strategy. And part of that exit strategy has to do with having a complete, full, database that has all the information in it and is robust. So database, most valuable asset. Number three, developing a database and having a database, it isn't really going to mean a whole lot if you are not nurturing it, right? So you could have 1,000 names of people, and it doesn't really matter if you're not staying in touch with those people and communicating with those people and pouring into those people and reaching out to those people and continually feeding, that database, continually maintaining it. So developing it, just that in and of itself is not enough. You have to go the next step, and you've got to do something with that database. And we're going to go a little deeper into that. Okay, number 4, his tip was to segment your database. Always have it segmented. So for him, he was talking about color coding, right? Because his was this little physical Rolodex. But color coding could also just be, I know, like for us, we have a contact management system we use, and we have something called tags, right? So we can tag people in a certain category. Now, for him, he had like purple for business. I'm sorry, it was purple for personal, like his friends and his family, and like blue for business, I think was his color coding concept. And you think about that in terms of tags. You can segment your database in a lot of different ways, guys. And it makes it a lot easier when you're trying to communicate with just a specific group of people. So when you color code or tag your database, some different ideas you could do would be like maybe you tag people by city. I don't know if you travel a lot, but maybe you want to connect with people when you're traveling. And so you just look up, hey, who's in this city? If I'm going to Colorado, if I'm going to Florida, or if I'm going to, Texas or Hawaii or wherever, who do I know there that I should connect with while I'm there? And you could quickly look that up by having it segmented by where they live, by city or by state. Another way you could do it is by source. Maybe you want to group or tag people together by how you met them. Maybe you met them in a buyer class that you hosted. And so you want to make sure that you have a tag for that. Maybe you met them at a specific networking event that you attended or that you hosted, and you want to tag them by that. Maybe you met them through doing an open house, so you want to tag them by that. So that is another way that you can segment your database. Okay, number 5, you guys, record important dates. Now, important dates could be anything from a wedding anniversary. It could be a home anniversary of when they sold or when they bought. It could also be birthdays, and it could be follow-up. Maybe it's just, knowing the next time where you need to reach out to them, so you don't wait a year before you connect with them again, or 2 years or 5 years, and you wake up and go, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to them in so long. I don't even know if they're going to remember me, or I don't even know if they're going to want to talk to me because I haven't spoken to them in so long. So when is the next time that you need to speak with them? When do you need to follow up with them? That's another important date that could be in your database profile for each of your people. Now, number 6. This is a great one, you guys. It is the wow factor he talks about in his book. The wow factor is adding notes to each person's profile that you have in your database on all kinds of stuff about them. What do they like? What are their favorite coffee drinks? What are their hobbies? What are their kids' names? What are their preferences, accomplishments? Not only does this make you a really good gift giver, right? Like maybe at the holidays, or maybe when a special occasion happens and you show up with their favorite bottle of wine, or you show up with a gift card to their favorite place that they love to golf or something like that. And they go, oh my gosh, I can't believe you remembered that. And it feels like magic to them. They're just like, holy smokes, like, I can't even believe that you remembered that piece of information about me. And when it's something that's important to them, and you make it important, the connection that is formed is so much deeper than just a surface connection, because people want to be valued and people want to be appreciated. And so this is probably one of the biggest components of what I'm going to talk about today. When you magically remember details in their life, what's the word I want to say? The spoiler alert, it's not magic, you guys. It's not magic. It's putting it into your database and keeping really good notes about the people that you know and what's important to them. So that's the wow factor. Number 7, having this great database and a full database and having the components of things that they like or are good at or their accomplishments also makes for really great like introductions. So you can do, when you're edifying someone, you're introducing and connecting people. I mean, as real estate agents, we do that all the time, right? We are connecting people all the time. We are connectors. I love to think of myself as a connector because nothing makes me happier than putting, two people together that needed each other's services or something like that. And I was able to connect them. And so the art of edifying someone when you're introducing them is just another form of showing them that they're valued, that they're appreciated, and that you pay attention to them. So that is also huge. So you guys, you're only going to get so far on natural ability. You can succeed, right? You can do really well. And at some point you're going to hit a ceiling, and you only get so far in your business just on sheer will and sheer strength and sheer drive and sheer natural ability. You never, ever, ever want to underestimate the power of the basics. And these are the basics, right? So I hope you guys take away some tips from today. I trust that you're going to implement them in your business. And when you do, I want to hear the success stories around it and tell me how that is going for you. And if you have other ideas, then post them. Let me know what your other ideas are that you would add to this. And I trust that you will take this training and implement this. Remember, it's your most valuable asset. See you on the next training.